Thanks for coming to j&ntravels podcast with your host John and Nancy.
Hi.
We will discuss everything travel, including cruising, Disney World, other general travel, snowbirding tips, trivia, and other fun things. Well, welcome in everyone. As you know, we like to start our show with just a little fun. So Nancy likes to give you 3 trivia questions. She'll give you 3 questions now. All have to do with traveling of some kind. And then towards the end of the podcast, Nancy will give you the answers to the trivia. So, Nancy, what is your trivia today?
So, what is the oldest attraction in Magic Kingdom? I love Magic Kingdom. That's my favorite park.
What is the oldest attraction in the Magic Kingdom? And I assume you mean Disney World?
Yes.
Walt Disney World,
of course.
Okay.
Walt Disney World, not Disneyland, Walt Disney World. Right. I'm glad you clarified that.
Okay. What is the oldest attraction in the Magic Kingdom? Okay.
Yep.
What's your next trivia question?
Let's see. My next trivia question would be, on which cruise line will you find the deepest cruise ship swimming pool? Wow.
On which cruise line will you find the deepest cruise ship swimming pool?
Yeah. So they're not all it's not all universal.
No,
besides.
In fact, I know this answer because I've swam in this pool before.
Yeah.
So
I must have too.
So which cruise line will you find that? Yes, you have. Yeah. So which cruise line have you? Read it again one more time.
On which cruise line will you find the deepest cruise ship swimming pool?
Okay.
And the last one is, what is the national animal of Canada?
What is the national animal of Canada?
Yep.
Interesting. I have my guesses, but
we'll
see what the real answer is. So read it one more time.
Okay. You want me to read all 3?
No, just the last one.
What is the national animal of Canada?
Okay. Actually, if you want to go through them real quick and read all 3 one more time.
So I just read, what is the national animal of Canada? On which cruise line will you find the deepest cruise ship swimming pool? And what is the oldest attraction in Magic Kingdom? And we're talking Disney World.
Okay. So we'll get back to Nancy's answers later in the podcast. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
So today, Nancy's segment 1 is going to be geared towards the best time to cruise in the Caribbean.
Okay.
We have our favorites, which we'll talk about. The internet travel agents have recommendations. Some are the same as ours, some are different.
Yeah.
So we're going to handle it by going on kind of a month-to-month breakdown. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. So the weather, we'll start with the beginning of the year and go through to the end of the year. So the weather for January and February, that's 2 of the best months to cruise in the Caribbean. January and February have low risk of hurricanes, which is one of your bigger fears.
Oh, yeah.
February is the best time of year in the Caribbean because warm temperatures are the norm throughout the region. You can expect highs in the mid-80s in the South Caribbean, with lows typically no cooler than the mid-60s in the northern destinations like the Bahamas and Puerto Rico. Water temperatures in the Caribbean can be cool in January and February. The occasional winter storm and breezy conditions can make waters a bit rougher as well. Now, there's a correlation because this is a cooler time of year. Is your rates for a typical cruise, if you're getting a good deal, is $50 to $60 per person per night. Okay, why we personally don't recommend that time of year is because even though the temperature is probably very comfortable and you're getting away from winter temperatures up north, like we are, the water can be very cold. And
in the Caribbean?
In the Caribbean, especially the northern part of the Caribbean. Now, if you go way down south, the further south you go, the better it is. But remember, we had a friend who took a trip to Bermuda, and another one that took it to the Bahamas, and they said you practically needed a wetsuit to swim in the water. It was so cold.
Yeah, that's not fun. You want to go to the Caribbean to be swimming in the warm waters.
Right. So if you have to do that, now you could probably lay on the beach and it'd be nice. Yeah. Who knows? But then you got to remember too, you're leaving cruise ports. We haven't gone in January, February.
No, we've never have.
But we have gone in like in November, and when you're leaving the cruise ports in say New York, I don't think they run out of Boston at that point. We actually were on a ship once where they were building a snowman. Remember?
I remember. We have a video of that. If somebody wants to check it out, there was a video of John building a snowman on the cruise ship.
So we don't personally recommend January, February. A lot of people like it. If you're going to take a cruise in January, February, the rates are cheaper. You could fly down to Florida, it's much easier flying out of Florida or one of the warmer states to fly down to them and take a cruise out of those.
Yeah.
Then we move on to March and April. Okay? March and April have great weather, but you run into spring break.
Oh,
Temperatures in March and April are great for those who want to get warm. Northern islands like the Bahamas or the Turks and Caicos are hotter than earlier in the year. That's the reference we made, how it can be cooler in January, February.
right.
And it can be in the 90s in some southern islands. So those islands you had to go to stay warm in January, February, you are now going to, they're going to be up in the 90s
Yeah.
in March and April.
Yeah.
Now the correlation to this is cruises run close to $100 per person per night. Spring break is popular time to cruise, and fares can fluctuate during this time. Keep in mind that spring break means things are crowded and lively on board and
Yeah.
on land.
That's for sure. Very lively.
Right. So it's a nice time of year
Yeah.
to go, but you're running into spring breaks.
Yeah.
Ships can be loaded with teenagers.
Of course.
Islands can be loaded with teenagers when you stop.
That's right.
So if you want a rowdy crowd and
You don't mind.
you don't mind, right?
Yeah.
So the time of year for weather is good,
But it is a little more expensive, like you said.
and that's a good point, right? It's almost double.
Right.
So if you're willing to go in a little cooler weather,
Right.
you can cut your fare in half.
Yeah, because you said it goes from 50 to 100, so yeah.
Right. That's a good point. So that takes us on to May and June. May and June are hot, humid, and less crowded. The late spring and the early summers are great for enjoying Caribbean at its relative quietness. Temperatures are hot with the highs in the 80s and 90s during the day. Humidity is also high this time of year, and nighttime temps won't fall lower than 70. June is the official start of hurricane season. Now the rates in correlation to this, cruise traffic increases to prepare for the influx of summer month vacationers. That means ships may be lower capacity as high season comes into full swing in the summer. Week-long sailings increase, some of it in the 4-digit range per person. Okay, so your rates are starting to go up, of course, again. Your spring breakers are done. The kids aren't out of school yet, so the crowds are lower. The weather's hotter, the water's warmer, and the rates are a little higher than the off-season. Not a bad year to go. One reason we've never chose to go is we like to sail when it's cooler out.
Yeah.
And the summer's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So if you're sailing in May or June, then the summer's right there. You don't really need it, right?
Right.
It's not like you're trying to escape from the
Right.
winter. Then we move into July and August. Temperatures in the Caribbean are in the upper 70s and 80s. More cloud cover from tropical systems helps keep temps down. July brings rain to the eastern Caribbean, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and August is wet in the Bahamas, Martinique, and Dominica. Caribbean sea temperatures are at their warmest in August, reaching 83 degrees on the average.
Nice.
We have a little experience going in August because we did our Bermuda trips there.
Yeah, we went twice in August.
And I recommend, what was the other one we went? The
With
other
your
month for
mother.
Bermuda.
We
What
went-
month was that?
It was August when we had the whole clan with your family.
Well, we went 3 times to Bermuda.
Yes, we went twice in August and
September?
once, I think, no, it was I think in July. I think we went in
Okay.
July.
This was kind of a must for us with Bermuda. People out of school. We had people who were controlled by the school schedule, so we had to go in the summer. I first thought, because the summer's the hottest, that this would be a lower time for cruising, but of course that's when all the families are off.
Yeah.
So that's when everyone piles in cruise ships. Bermuda, even some of the Bahamas are warmer if you go in July or August.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's how it was. I know we went twice in August, and I believe the third time might have been in July. But
Okay.
we'll have to look back on our videos.
Right. So for something like as far north as Bermuda, it's good to go in July and August. If you can avoid July and August because of the family, there's no family commitments to schools and stuff like that, then go in the off season. The other thing about July and August that we found, if you book towards the end of August, your rates are going to go down and the weather is still going to be perfect.
Oh, yeah, we were able to snorkel just with our bathing suits because the water was warm.
Because
We didn't need a wetsuit to snorkel.
the NCL cruises we took, the Disney cruise, were all towards the end of the summer. And what we did is, if you do it the last 2 weeks, people don't think about it, but the South is back in school.
Yes, that's right.
So
Good
the
point.
crowds are less, or kids are just getting ready for school.
That's right.
So
Yep.
the crowds are less, and which reflects on the fees, which tend to be less.
Mhm.
So we move now on to July and August. Oh, we did about July and
I was
August.
going to say, you just did that.
That's right. Okay. September, October, and November will all lumped
Oh,
together because
yes.
that's basically the summer's over, that's the off season, and that puts us in the hurricane season.
Right.
So September,
is
October,
hurricane
November is
season.
hurricane season in the Caribbean. While temperatures remain steady in September, October, and November, the 70s and the 80s, beautiful time to go weather-wise. Sunny days might be tempered by winds and rains during the stormy conditions. Ocean temperatures stay around 83 degrees, but due to hurricane season, sea conditions can be choppy and rough.
Yeah.
September is the worst month to cruise, and Nancy refuses to cruise in
I
September.
do. I refuse to cruise in September.
So surprisingly, September's the worst month. You'd think they'd have the dirt cheapest fares,
Yeah,
and they
you
are
could-
lower.
Yeah, but not as
we
low
f-
as you would imagine.
Well, the thing is, we find our favorite time to go is October, middle October to the middle of November.
yes.
It's at the tail end of hurricane season, and we have not run into one yet. Knock on wood. The rates are just as cheap. You can get deals just as cheap as you can during September, which is the peak hurricane season. You're getting into the cold weather, so you're escaping the cold weather up north.
Yep.
I can't think of a negative about going in the middle of October to the middle of November. And
No, I can't.
and you're also beating the holiday crowd.
Yes.
So
And it's fun because if we go over Halloween, there's decorations for Halloween and Halloween theme parties.
and we'll be going on our third Halloween cruise this year, and they are fun. Some cruise
are.
lines do it better than others.
Yeah, some do.
But they
still
at least
fun.
all give you an air
Yeah.
of things. And when you're talking rates this time of year, reduced cruise rates can drop below $50 per person. The lowest we've paid during this time of year was $39 a night.
What a steal.
I know. As of the end of November, it transitions to the holidays. Caribbean cruise prices begin to rise. So, of course, you get to Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
which we've done once because they just had a great deal that
Yeah,
year.
we did go once over Thanksgiving, yes.
But most of the time, you're going to pay higher in Christmas, especially Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
You're doubling your fare
Absolutely.
and doubling your crowds.
Yeah.
So we don't recommend during it. And if you're trying to get the Christmas spirit, a lot of people are not aware that they start decorating at the beginning of the month.
Yeah, it's nice to see Christmas trees and gingerbread houses. We saw quite a lot of Christmas decorations.
They'll usually do it right after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We were on a cruise or two that transitioned over Thanksgiving into the first week of December. And when we woke up, after Thanksgiving was over, we woke up the next day and the whole place was decked out with Christmas
yeah,
trees,
it's nice.
gingerbread
It
houses.
does put you in the spirit.
Right. So we actually got a taste of 2 or 3
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah, it was really
all
nice.
at once.
Yeah. I remember because we were hiding our little frogs in the Christmas trees.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
That was that was our favorite hide spot.
Yeah, it was.
And the last section is December. December can be the best time to cruise the Caribbean. Earlier in the month brings a lull to the islands, and the hurricane season has ended. So the hurricane season is totally gone. But of course, the fares, depending on exactly when you go, can be double what you're paying during the other times of year. So if you're looking at December, you want a deal, go the first half of December.
Yeah.
If you want to really go over Christmas because you just want to be there on Christmas, it's going to cost you,
Right.
and it's going to be crowded.
Right.
So we recommend, like I said, a lot of the websites and a lot of the TAs will say go in January, February, or go different times of year. We highly recommend middle of October to the middle of November for cruising.
Yeah.
And we will go out of that sometimes just to adapt to maybe a group cruise or other people going. But if we were to pick, that's our favorite
Yeah,
time.
to reiterate, the prices are lower, the crowds are lower, and the risk of hurricanes are lower. So those are all good reasons to go.
I mean, technically, middle October to middle of November is in hurricane season, but you get very minimal ones at that point.
Yeah.
And we haven't hit them yet.
No,
so
not yet.
We'll just say. Okay. So that's our summary. Hopefully this will help you on determining what time of year you go on a cruise. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Every podcast, Nancy likes to do a little research and come out with some interesting fun facts for
Yeah,
different items that you would find traveling.
exactly.
So today's fun facts are Disney World food facts, correct?
Yes.
And you have 5 of them for us.
I do.
So what are those 5 Disney World food facts, Nance?
Okay. Disney chefs will use at least 90 different cheeses in their cooking. Wow,
Holy
that's
cow.
a lot.
You know there were 9 different cheeses out there.
Oh, wow. The Land Pavilion at Epcot grows over 30 tons of vegetables and fruits every year, all of which are served at the restaurants throughout Disney World, including Garden Grill. And I have to comment on that because I had a salad at Ohana's restaurant when we ate there
Yeah.
last, and it was the most tender leaves, green leaves, and I was assuming maybe they,
And if you have,
got them from the Land
right,
Pavilion.
and the thing is, if you haven't, there's a ride attraction called Living with the Land,
Yes.
and go through a boat and it actually takes you through the greenhouse where this stuff is growing. It's
Yes,
fascinating.
it is fascinating. And if you ever have a chance to eat at Ohana's, the food is amazing and it's family style, so you won't go hungry. Okay, number 3, let's see. There are over 6,000 food items available at Walt Disney World, served at more than 475 different dining options throughout the property.
Wow,
Yeah, that's a lot.
quite a bit of food. Yeah, I mean, you knew there was a lot.
Yeah.
It's a huge area, but when you hear numbers,
Right. At least 190 orders of meatloaf and mashed potatoes are requested every day at the 50s Prime Time Cafe at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Well, that's real comfort food.
well,
That's
it's
what they
funny too
serve.
because wouldn't you think you go and you pay this top dollar
Yeah.
because of Disney, and
Yeah.
you sit down and you think you're getting something more exotic,
I
and people
know.
are ordering meatloaf.
I know. It's stuff you could make at home.
And your last fun fact, food fun fact?
324,000 pounds of popcorn are popped every year at Walt Disney World Resort. That's a 5.3 million bags of buttery kernels. Wow.
A lot of popcorn.
Yeah.
Great
popcorn.
mark up there.
Yeah, it's always a good snack.
That's great. Okay, thank you for those fun facts, Nance.
You're welcome.
Today's Snowbird tip is how to spend half a day or a full day. And this is visiting the Wilderness Lodge on Disney World property. We love to spend the day resort hopping at the Disney World resorts, and one of our favorites is the Wilderness Lodge. The Wilderness Lodge represents America's Great Northwest. We enjoy exploring the massive lobby with the two 55-foot high totem poles and the magnificent 82-foot tall fireplace, which is a recreation of the strata of the Grand Canyon. We enjoyed the food in both the Whispering Canyon, which is a themed all-you-can-eat restaurant, and the Roaring Forks, a quick-service restaurant. After you are done with the inside of the resort, you can walk around the beautiful grounds outside. You may even be lucky enough to catch a 120-foot geyser that erupts hourly. Today's second segment is on favorite complimentary restaurants on a cruise ship that we've had. And this is a edited version of one of our lives. Favorite complimentary restaurants on a cruise ship.
Oh, I know which ones mine are.
There's a lot of them,
Yeah.
and we can speak on these because we only go to complimentary restaurants. We haven't done the specialty restaurants.
No, we've never done a specialty restaurant.
So, unless you want to count one 30 plus years ago, that was the lone one that you went to with your parents.
Paolo's. Oh, I did. I did do,
on
and
Disney.
it was $5. Holy moly. That food was so good. I could still taste it. Now, quite a while ago.
So,
Paolo's on the Disney cruise ship Magic.
so complimentary restaurants. Now, we're not going to remember all of them all the
No.
way back on the cruises, but some of the ones that we did come up with, okay?
Yeah.
We might as well start with our most recent cruise, which was on the Horizon.
Yeah.
That was our first Carnival cruise in
Over 30 years.
over 30 years,
Yep.
right? So they changed it completely, obviously. But one of the things we enjoyed when we got on there, I love barbecue, was a Pig and Anchor.
That was good.
Now, Pig and Anchor had a pay restaurant there, but the lunches on, was it just C days?
I believe so.
Yeah, on C days were complimentary.
Yeah, it was really good.
So you definitely get your share of their barbecue. Scott says they always go to Guy's Burger. Now, we have that
Yeah.
on our list too.
I like Guys.
And Guy's does a good burger.
Yeah, they
I don't
do.
think it's, I mean, I don't know. The burger, I guess, the burger doesn't seem like it's so much better than other burgers, but it's very tasty burger and the fries.
It's tasty. I mean, I would have liked to have, piled all the toppings,
Yeah.
but I can't. I can't eat that stuff, so I had to limit the toppings I put on. But I bet it would be awesome with more toppings. But it was good.
And that's a good point. The big thing with guys probably is the toppings. They
Yeah,
have that nice
yeah,
toppings bar.
yeah.
Now, Larry picks the Mongolian wok. That was your number one favorite.
I love that. Yes, that was my number one favorite. Yes.
Now, Mongolian wok is their Asian restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
which at night is called Gigi's, right?
Gigi's, yeah.
And it's a pay restaurant at night.
Yeah.
But like Pig and Anchor and like the Italian place, on C days, they open up for lunch
It
from
was
12 to 2.
delicious. Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Too.
I loved it.
That was delicious. You order a bowl, you pick the noodle, you
And the
pick the sauce.
And the added, you can have shrimp or
Right, the meat, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
bok chow, or if I said that right, I had that one time. Yeah, it was really good.
that was terrific. And the other one, I can't remember what it was called in the daytime. It was, I keep calling it the pasta bowl, but it was right across the hallway
Yeah, I
from
don't
the
know the name
Mongolian
of
wok.
it.
It was okay.
Yeah,
You could do different sauces. You could do
yeah,
the white sauces or the tomato sauce.
yeah,
And you do the same thing. You could pick your noodle and your
right.
meat.
Yeah.
So, of course, they had a little bit, the noodles were more like Italian style noodles, the
Hmm.
big ziti type of noodles, whereas your noodles in the Asian
I have
restaurant
to
were
admit, though, I did get into the spaghetti bolognese. It was delicious. After I got back from the cruise, I was making more of the spaghetti bolognese here at home because I really loved it.
we actually haven't had a bad spaghetti bolognese on any
No,
cruise ship.
no,
That
the
is the
sauce
one
is
thing
really
that's
good.
right that they seem
Yeah,
to make well
very good. Yeah, so
on every cruise we've been on. This is just a mention because it was complimentary, but neither of us liked it. Was a deli.
yeah, I mean, I can't eat a lot of that kind of stuff. So, you know,
What do you guys think about the deli on there? We tried probably, I think they offered maybe, I don't know, 12 different sandwiches. And we
yeah,
tried probably 5 of them between the two of us
yeah,
and didn't find any of them that we liked, right?
yeah, I got to be careful what I eat, but I was really disappointed. I really like Reubens, so I ordered a Reuben, and I was really disappointed because they didn't put much corned beef in it. But I guess the tip is you're supposed to ask for double meat, so I didn't know that because on the NCL when I got Reubens, they were amazing. They were really nice and thick with a lot of corned beef. But I suppose if I asked for double corned beef, I probably would have liked it.
Was the quality of the sandwich good, or was it just that it was lack of meat?
Well, I didn't like it because it was lack of meat.
Yeah. So it
But
was more bread,
yeah,
bready table.
so it was very thin. And
Larry loves the fried noodles, but he does not like the bolognese on the cruise ship.
oh,
That's
really? You don't
interesting.
like the bolognese? I thought it was really good.
Funny the different
Yeah,
tastes with people, huh?
yeah, I really enjoyed the bolognese.
And this, sadly to say, was one of our big go-to places. Was the pizza place.
Oh, I know.
I think Carnival needs to really remanage the way they do it because it was
Yeah.
the only thing open after 11, and the
Hmm.
line was always from one end of the ship to the other side of the ship.
Yeah.
But the pizza was the best we've
That was
had
good.
on.
Yeah, it was very, very good. I mean, we had good pizza on the Oasis. The Sorrento had very good pizza. Um,
Okay, so Larry had, that's funny because we liked the bolognese. He didn't.
yeah, he
He
didn't.
had good luck with the deli sandwiches.
Oh, really?
And we didn't. So,
I mean, I only tried the one because I really like, you know, what is it? Corned beef. So
right. Well,
like
the thing is, you're
Reubens.
going to fill yourself on ones that sandwiches you're not going to eat. So then we move on to another cruise line. That was the ones that stood out for us on Carnival. So we move on to another cruise line, which is NCL. Now we've enjoyed NCL probably the most as far as complimentary restaurants are concerned. The big thing that Carnival lacks is they do not have a 24-hour restaurant. Royal Caribbean does. Disney, I think, did. I'm not sure, and NCL did. And I thought NCL's 24-hour restaurant was fantastic. I thought eating it during the day, the food was good, and then what they have is a more of a limited menu at night, but the limited menu contained open face roast beef sandwiches, turkey sandwiches, and my favorite, of course, 24/7 chicken wings. So the NCL was really good. There's a place, and it goes by 3 different names. I think when we started out, the place was the first NCL ship we went on was called the Blue Lagoon. The same place was rebranded as a place called O'Sheenan's, and some of them still go by that name. And then it's been now changed. Any new ship that comes out, I think it's called the Local, but it's all the same place. It's you can get. I don't know if they serve alcohol through the night because the food's being served during the night, but you can go in there and get yourself a lemonade, a drink, and a full meal. Or fish and chips was very good there. So we liked that a lot. The other spot we liked, and this was only on a couple of their ships, complimentary, was a place called the Great Outdoors, and this was a place that was set in the back of the ship. It might have been off the back end of the where the buffet is, and it had a limited amount of food, but it had some hot food and some cold food and some sandwiches and tea and coffee. And we would go out there and for breakfast and stuff. It was a beautiful place to sit. And that late at night, I think they would have late night snacks. That's the other thing that Carnival did not have. And I don't know if that's the same with all the ships. We have a cruise book this October on the Carnival ship. I'm hoping some of these ships have late night snacks because you come out of a show at night and you haven't really eaten because you've been sitting in the show. You're starving. So we like to have definitely a snack at the end of the night. And NCL and Oasis to a lower degree hit that. Not Oasis, but the Royal Caribbean hit that. So the Great Outdoors was very good, and for both we like the breakfast stairs and the late night stuff the most. And then they had a version of an Asian restaurant there that was complimentary. And the good thing about their complimentary one, it wasn't just sea days and it wasn't just for lunches. It was also included dinner. So you could go there and we did this a couple times during the cruise. You have to make reservations and we go in there and have some dinner, and it was called Bamboo. The food was okay. I mean, it was middle of the road. I don't think on any cruise ship you get top notch food, Chinese food or some kind of Asian food at any of these restaurants. I mean, maybe there's some on some cruise ships, but we haven't found them. And the other one, the last one on that we remembered is kind of standing out is their version of a Mexican restaurant, which is called Los Lobos on NCL, and they had. I guess I cheated. Nancy's more of the less picky one. I'm more the picky meat and potatoes kind of guy. So I would go there and basically have I don't know what you'd call it, some kind of wrap. They had steak and shrimp and chicken stuff. I would have steak and then put the cheese sauce on it and that kind of thing, a few toppings. And that was very good, very tasty. Nancy always kids me because there were a couple of Indian dishes. I've never been to an Indian restaurant, but a couple Indian dishes on the buffet that were very good. And that's a good way to taste, obviously, the different foods and stuff like that. So that was very good but you had to know it was there. And, Indian would be an interesting restaurant. And he said a Brazilian steakhouse. Now, I guess, Larry, most of the cruises or a lot of the cruises have a Brazilian steakhouse, but it's a specialty restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you went to it when it was Gigi's then. Okay. So you went to the nighttime. So I bet the menu is a lot more upscale when you went to it at night because it was it was a watered down menu for the afternoon when they called Gigi's, what was a Mongolian wok, but it was delicious. And, we ate there. I'll bet we went on a back to back. So we probably ate there 4 or 5 different lunches, but I get it's night. It must have a totally different menu, right, Larry? Is that correct? So there's 2 other cruise lines that we have been on that we can speak a little bit about their complimentary restaurants or complimentary foods. One is, which is probably our favorite ship still. We never thought we'd enjoy a large ship. We really like the smaller ones, but this one turned out to be very nice. We went on Oasis Sea, which was a Royal Caribbean cruise. So Oasis, I just got a comment because we put out a video on the Park Cafe, which is a complimentary restaurant in Central Park. They have a whole Central Park replica on the Oasis, and this is the place, Park Cafe, that has supposedly this very popular roast beef sandwich. Now, nothing's usually as good as people brag about it, and this was good. It was very good. We went back several times, but it wasn't blowing off the top. That was a Park Cafe. That was a restaurant that you go in, if you went in for breakfast, you get very unique breakfast items. They had some unique dessert items. These are all complimentary: coffee, tea, and then your the roast beef sandwich. I think they might have had a couple. They had a couple soups also, and I'm not sure if they had other meat, but the roast beef was fresh cut meat that they made the sandwich with, so that was delicious. They had their version of the pizza, which is Sorrento, open late at night. It was very good, but like I said, I still think the one we had in Carnival was probably the best pizza we've had. And that's just based it on 4 cruise lines. The worst being NCL and the best being the Carnival one. On the Oasis, the other thing Nancy enjoyed, I'm not a hot dog person,
Oh, I love hot dogs. Yeah.
but you really enjoyed the hot
Yeah,
dog,
it was
right?
good. Yeah.
Came back just in time because you can tell me how the hot dog was. That's a
It was
complimentary
excellent.
thing.
Yeah, it was very good. It was a very delicious all beef hot dog.
Well, they've set up the way Oasis is set up is such a big ship. They have the Central Park area, and then they have an area that's called the Boardwalk. There's actually a merry-go-round on it.
Yeah, that was fun.
It has a hot dog stand, freestanding, and the other place they have there is Johnny Rockets, which is not technically a complimentary, but they do a complimentary
It was
breakfast.
nice having a sit-down breakfast. I mean, it was crowded, though. You had to wait for a while to get served. Remember, it took us a while?
Yeah.
But I had French toast. It was very good. And then I think we went there twice because then I got like a Weston sandwich. And I thought that was good.
Well, I don't know if we ever had lunch there.
But I got some kind of a Weston
with the
sandwich.
breakfast. Yeah,
it was on the breakfast
thing,
menu. Yeah,
I do
because it
remember
has
that.
eggs and peppers.
Right. Yeah, that's what you call those. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was an unusual thing on which we really liked. I don't know if other cruise lines do it. Maybe you guys can tell me if they do. But the solarium they have there, which they have the Dell solarium like Carnival does, and like I can't remember if NCL has a solarium, but they actually put out a very good spread of food in the solarium area around lunchtime. That's included.
Yeah, it was different. They had a lot of different foods there.
Right. And they don't advertise.
No,
I mean,
they don't.
We bumped into it on the very first day when we were exploring the ship, and we went back several times.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting out there, you go out there, there's a nice little pool there and stuff like that, and to look at the view, and then there's something to eat there if you want. So you don't have to go back up to the buffet or the sit down. And the last one we had marked on Royal Caribbean was a Cafe Promenade. That was across from Sorrento in the Promenade. That's their version of a 24-hour restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get sandwiches? They had sandwiches. They
I
had
got
desserts.
the roast beef sandwich there. Wasn't that?
No, that wasn't there. Unless it was pre-made. They had a few wraps. Remember?
I got some wraps, and I think I got a fruit cup
and stuff. Yeah.
They had the sandwiches looked really good, but I didn't try. I think I might have tried one.
The sandwiches, yeah. And so that was. It's not any place that has a 24-hour, even if it's simple items. I don't know why Carnival can't do that because it spreads the crowds out. Number one, so everyone's not in line waiting for the pizza, and it gives you a little bit of diverse taste from pizza. And the last ship was the Disney ship. Disney. Okay, this goes back. The Disney one we were on was 30 years ago, so I'm sure it's changed a lot. But the two things we could remember was the main dining rooms. Disney doesn't do it like the other cruise ships. They have a full blown out theme. Like one of them, for example, animated palette, the walls turn colors.
Oh yeah, that's
drawings
cool.
would appear on
Yeah, they
there.
had these drawings on the walls of the restaurant, and then they would change color. That was really cool.
And Lamia was based on, of course, the Beauty and the Beast, which is a French theme.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And the big thing that always stands out with us, because you don't get this on any cruise ship, is those Mickey bars.
Oh yeah,
expensive Mickey bars that everyone likes.
My father loved those.
The chocolate covered were free.
Yeah.
So you could get that, plus they had a regular ice cream place. So those were our complimentary restaurants. If anyone thinks of any, please throw it in the chat. So Nancy, this is the part of our podcast where you give the answer to your 3 trivia questions. So I guess if you read the question, and then you can give the answer.
What is the oldest attraction in Magic Kingdom in Disney World?
So what's the oldest attraction in Disney World?
In Magic Kingdom.
Okay, and the answer to that is?
Prince Charming Regal Carousel, formerly named Cinderella's Golden Carousel. It was originally built for Detroit's Belle Island Park in 1917. Wow, that goes back.
So the merry-go-round, okay.
Yeah, it goes back a long time.
Okay, and your second question?
The second question, on which cruise line will you find the deepest cruise ship swimming pool? You know the answer.
Yeah, which cruise line will you find the deepest swimming pool? I used to think like you that this was universal.
Yeah.
And people hate the deep one because you can't just hang out.
Yeah.
I actually liked it better. Is it on Royal Caribbean?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct.
I
Royal
actually liked it
Caribbean.
better there because people would not get in the pool. You could, if you wanted some space, you
Yeah.
could just float in the middle of the pool.
Yeah.
And it was quite deep.
I agree with you. I enjoy the deeper swimming pool as well.
And if you don't, you hang out the side,
Yeah.
right? And your third trivia question?
What is the national animal of Canada? What do you think
National
it is?
animal of Canada.
Yeah.
I was thinking along the lines of an elk or something, but
Yeah.
What
No,
is
it's
it?
the beaver.
the beaver.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
That
have
makes sense.
It does.
I was thinking moose or elk, but
Yeah, I was
beaver.
thinking moose too, but beaver is the national animal of Canada, and we have a beaver dam next to us. We've seen many, many beavers in the 34 years that we've been living on this property. They're really cool.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There'll be more trivia on our next podcast.
Yep.
So, a new feature to our show, Nancy, is we've had some people sending in emails with questions, either
Yeah.
on traveling in general or on our traveling experiences. So, we decided to take one question and use it as the way to end each podcast. So, today's question is, what Disney park do each of us prefer? So, Nance, what's your favorite Disney park?
I have to say it's Magic Kingdom. I just fell in love with Magic Kingdom when I went there for the first time at 27, and it made me feel like a kid again. So I just see it. I see Cinderella's castle, and I just love it.
Yeah, and a lot of the attractions are the ones that you like too.
I
They're
do.
not the real scary type
Yeah,
attractions.
of course. All the attractions there I really enjoy. I like Space Mountain. I like Thunder Roller Coaster. I like Splash Mountain. I'll miss the Splash Mountain, but I'm looking forward to going on it again to
Interesting to see the new theming.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and in my case, I've always stood by Epcot.
Epcot,
Even
yeah.
through its transition, I love Epcot. The attractions there are great, and even like we had mentioned, Living with the Land.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
the Space one and different ones there, I think they just intrigue me, and I like the way we go from the attractions, current day attractions in the front of the park. Then you go over the causeway, and all of a sudden you're into all these countries and
Yes,
pavilions, which
yes.
is fascinating going through them
Yep.
and their attractions.
Yes.
So mine would be Epcot. Okay, Nancy's is Magic Kingdom, and mine's Epcot. Anyone else that has any questions, just email us. Our email should be down below, at j&ntravels@yahoo.com. And we'll take any questions and any comments.
Right.
So thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thanks for coming to J&N Travels Podcast.